boys and girls. We're back again.
Hi.
And I have Cindy Lou with me again today.
Hi.
And today is Thursday of the Holy Week. And this is the day that Jesus left Bethany. But before he left, he sent Peter and John ahead to the upper room in Jerusalem because they were making...
What's the upper room?
The upper room is where Jesus and his disciples met.
Yeah.
Yes, this was called the upper room. It was upstairs in a house.
Oh, okay.
Okay? And they were preparing for what we call the Passover feast or the Lord's Supper. Wow. That's a lot, isn't it?
That sounds special.
It is special. That evening after sunset, Jesus and his disciples met in that upper room. And this is where Jesus told his final words to his disciples. He was
Final words?
Yeah, he was telling his disciples that he was going to leave them.
Oh, no.
But that they couldn't go with him. Not
Where's
this
he
time.
going?
He's getting ready to go on the cross. Yes. Now he told his disciples that his life was soon going to end. And you know, we know that one of his disciples betrayed him. And we know who that was, don't we?
Judas.
Judas. He betrayed him. Now, during this time in the upper room, Jesus took his clothes off and wrapped himself in a towel. And he took a basin of water and wet the towel. And he washed his disciples' feet.
Dirty, stinky feet.
You know,
They were boys' feet, too.
they were
Gotta
boys'
stink.
feet. But you know what? Jesus always said that you had to be clean. And in order to be clean, that's what he was telling his disciples. We have to keep ourselves clean. And Jesus was humbling himself. He was showing to his disciples that this was something that he wanted everyone to remember him by. So we need to remember of Jesus washing his disciples' feet.
I wouldn't want to wash nobody's stinky feet.
But Jesus did. Jesus didn't mind washing his feet. And Jesus told his disciples that when they went out, that they were to go do that in remembrance of him.
Well, I guess if Jesus did it, I want to be like Jesus.
That's right. We need to be like Jesus. You know something else they did that day in the upper room, Cindy Lou?
What was that?
They did what we call communion.
Communion?
Communion, or the Last Supper. This was during the time. And we have to remember, in this long room, all 12 of the disciples was around Jesus at the table. And they had ate their meal, and he had already washed their feet and told them all of that. And he
They were ready for a nap.
no, they couldn't go to sleep yet. They had to wait because Jesus had something else he had to do.
Really?
Yes. He had to tell them that they were to break bread.
Bring it, bring it.
Break bread. They were to give thanks for this bread. And we didn't go bake bread today. So today, because of all of you little guys, we're going to use little fish because this is our bread for today.
Oh, fish.
See, we're going to have fish for today.
Okay.
This is our bread. And Jesus, he held up this bread and he said, I got it, Lord. Thank you for this. Thank you for this day. He gave thanks to God for the things that was taking place. And he took this bread and he gave each one of a piece of this bread. And he says, take it and eat it. For this is my body.
His body.
His body. This bread represented Jesus' body.
Ooh.
And then he took, in the Bible, it says wine. Today we use grape juice. This is grape juice. He gave them the grape juice in the cup. And what did he tell them to do?
Drink it.
To take it and drink. For this is my blood that was shed for you.
His blood.
For the forgiveness of sins.
Wow.
And this, he told his disciples to do this, and he told them to remember that this was a commandment, that we are to do this in remembrance of him. So every time that we do communion in remembrance of Jesus, we need to be prayerful, and we need to be thinking about how he gave his life for us.
You mean when he died on the cross?
Yes, when he died on the cross.
So this is important.
Very important. Very important. You know, later Jesus and the disciples left that upper room and they went into the Garden of Gethsemane where Jesus prayed. But before all of that took place, you know, we need to remember that when someone talks about doing the communion or the Lord's Supper, that we do this in remembrance of Jesus.
We remember him.
We remember him
Okay.
by the fish, the bread,
Bread
by the grape juice,
and the juice.
which represents Jesus' body. So this was the Lord's Supper, the Passover feast with his 12 disciples. Bye, Cindy Lou. See you later. Bye, everyone.
Bye, boys and girls.